Hello and welcome to the Health, Environmental, Aging, and Disabilities Committee for February
All right, man.
26th.
Appreciate it. Take care. Bye.
All right, let's start this again. Hello and welcome to the Health, Environmental, Aging, and Disabilities Committee for February 26, 2025. I am the chair, Councilman Kobe Owens for the 1st District. At this time, I will call the roll of the members of the committee first. Christian Wilholler.
Here.
Maria Cabrera. Nathan Field.
Present.
Alexander Hackett.
Here.
Chris Johnson.
Here.
And Council President Congo. We do have a quorum. Just a friendly reminder, only members of this committee should be making motions and seconding and voting. Next, let's go to our first let's go to Councilman Hackett, who has an ordinance to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tonight, I am presenting an ordinance that will issue a 90-day license suspension for marijuana retailers. This proposal is a result of conversations with my colleagues in City Council and administration to allow the city time to regulate and zone properly. This ordinance will provide the city the opportunity to work through our mandated zoning and planning process. We have heard from residents and others that this industry, if it's needed to be existing, we need to make sure that it's in the right areas and that it's not negatively affecting our community. This ordinance is very important, and we're pretty much doing the work diligently to make sure that we zone properly. And I just want to, thank you, Chair, for the time. I think this is really important, and my colleagues, and so does the administration, as I stated earlier, we're working together on this to make this happen for the city of Wilmington.
And I think we have someone from the mayor's administration.
Yes.
Again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Councilman Hackett, for also being here. I do want to note that this is a good first step in the right direction to make sure that we are doing everything in our power to make sure that we are allowing this to come to the city, but we're doing it in an equitable way. So thank you for taking the time to present for this. Is there any questions from committee members? Real quick, I would like to recognize Council President Congo and Councilwoman Cabrera. And Councilwoman Cabrera, you have your hand up. Is there any questions from members of council? Is there any questions from the public? Seeing that this is an ordinance, I will entertain a motion to vote it out of committee.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been probably moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against say nay. And it is out of committee. Motion passes. Thank you so much, y'all. Next, we'll move to the next piece of next item on the agenda, which is a resolution to support HB 3, an act to amend Title 11 of the Delaware Code related to breastfeeding. It is sponsored by me. Again, this is. No. There we go. This is an act that creates a breastfeeding and lactation program within the DOC, Department of Corrections, to provide lactation support to women in DOC custody. Among other things, it permits women to collect breast milk for later retrieval and delivery to an infant or toddler by an approved person. This is a state bill that was introduced by Representative DeShawna Neal and co-sponsored by Senator Marie Pickney. And it is is there any questions on this? Any questions from the public? No? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say this is a really nice that City Council is sending this message to the General Assembly to take action on this important issue, and I want it to be added as a co-sponsor.
Duly noted. All right, because this is a resolution, it does not have to be voted out of committee, and we can move to the next one, which is a resolution to support HB 115, an act to amend Title 14 of the Delaware Code relating to the play-based learning in early education, and it is sponsored by me. Again, this bill here is sponsored by Representative Ray Moore and Senator Towson. And again, what it does, one second. What it does is permits early learning educators in public schools to use and encourage play-based learning in preschool, kindergarten, grades 1 through 3 in their classrooms and in their curriculum. Play-based learning is defined as any learning activities that is performed by a child for self-amusement that has behavioral, social, or psychomotor rewards. Play-based learning also means activities that are child-directed, joyful, and spontaneous, whereby rewards come from the individual child. Again, this is a resolution. Is there any comment from any other committee members?
I would like to make a comment.
Yes.
I just want to say thank you, Chair, for bringing this to our attention. This is most important. We know our situation that we have in education. My mom had a daycare for 15 years in that early childhood, so I know it's important. So thank you for bringing this to our attention. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for co-sponsoring too.
Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to say the same thing as Councilman Hackett, that this the City Council recently established an office focused on education, and I think things like this, where we take a look at legislation that's being considered at the state level, and that City Council can, weigh in. I think it's a great step in the right direction. I want to thank you, Councilman Owens, and I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Duly noted. Again, this is a resolution and does not need to be voted out of committee and will be placed on the agenda at the next council meeting. Next is a resolution to support HB 35, an act proposing amendment to Article 1 of the Delaware Constitution relating to the prohibition of the death penalty. Again, this is sponsored by me. It's a House bill sponsored by Representative Sean Lynn and Senator Kara Hoffner. Again, this is the first leg of a constitutional amendment to prohibit the imposition of the death penalty. Last session, there was a bill passed that outlawed it here in Delaware, but going forward, they would like to make a constitutional amendment. Again, that means it has to be voted on 2 consecutive sessions of the General Assembly. Is there any questions? Okay. Any questions from the public? All right, seeing that that is a resolution, it does not have to be voted out of committee, and we'll go to the next agenda.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Duly noted. All right, we're moving, y'all. Next is a resolution to support SB 5, an act proposing an amendment to the Article 1 of the Delaware Constitution relating to the right of reproductive freedom. Again, this is sponsored by me. It is sponsored down in Dover. It's SB 5, sponsored by Senator Brian Towson and Representative Krista Griffiths. Again, this is an act to amend the Delaware State Constitution. It's the first leg, so it has to be voted on in 2 consecutive sessions. But this will, again, to ensure that every Delawarean is afforded reproductive freedom. Amending the Constitution requires not only passing the changes in this act, but also passage in the following a General Assembly as well, too. Again, it is a greater than a majority vote for the passage of this. And again, is there any questions?
Yes, Chairman, you can add me as a co-sponsor.
Okay, duly noted.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it's great that you are bringing all of these issues to the attention of council. I just want to thank you, commend you on your efforts, and I'd like to ask to be added to a co-sponsor of this as well.
Duly noted. Is there any questions from the public? If not, it is a resolution, and we'll move to the next council agenda. Oh.
Cheyenne Miller,
Yes.
she has her hand up.
Cheyenne Miller?
Hi, my name is Cheyenne Miller. I live in the 7th District. And I just want to say thank you to support some of the good bills that are happening down in Legislative Hall. I know usually during the legislative session, we tend to see a lot of resolutions in support of the bills that are going on down there in the end of the year towards like May or June. And that's often like last minute. And so showing your support early in the year helps for our state representatives and our senators that are voting on this stuff now to know that, you know, they've got the support of city council to do some of these things that will impact city residents. So just wanted to say thank you for putting these on the agenda and putting them up early, and I hope to see more of this.
Thank you so much. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we will move that resolution to the next council meeting. Now, which I think everyone's here for, is a presentation by Network Connect on the update of their completed impact report done by their executive director, Cierra Hall. Did you have anyone else?
No, they are here in support.
Maybe for the seating.
Thank you, committee members, for having me and my team today.
And 1 second, we'll put your presentation up on the screen
Perfect.
in a
Thank
second.
you.
You might want to take another picture.
There we go. And just let us know when you need us to go
Okay.
to the next slide.
Again, thank you for having us today. I am going to just get right into it. So you're flying through, so I'm going to follow that lead. As a motto at Network Connect, we are the network connecting communities. Network Connect is a nonprofit that takes community connection, resource building, and information awareness approach to youth and family services with community at its center. What makes Network Connect unique is the people behind the organization. Lots of them are here tonight. Network Connect's leadership and staff look like the community they serve. They have social capital and train to provide 21st century case management while also having the necessary experiences with vulnerable populations to contribute to the organization's success. Most importantly, serving youth and their families is my passion and commitment, and it is the passion and commitment of the people who work with us. Network Connect promotes youth and family development through 8 key programs: our Community Wellbeing Ambassador Program, which is statewide, our Dual School and Future Culture Creators Workforce Development Programs, which are also statewide, our Race to Wellness, which stands for the Reverse the Effects of Adverse Childhood Experiences, which serves statewide, our Wilmington Street Team, which is supported by the City Council and the Mayor's Office, our Safe Passage Program, which helps schools get students to and from school safely, our Messaging Center, which takes needed information to the hard-to-reach communities, and our most recent program, our Recovery Cafe, which is housed in our Dover location, which helps heal and provide healing resources to those who suffer from mental health illness or disability or recovery needs. I am going to, if you can slide into our impact report, I'm going to move right into the impact report and take questions after this, if that's okay. We'll keep going. Oh, that's all you have? Okay.
Next slide.
Next slide.
One more.
One more.
Keep going. That's information about the programs I detailed. Contact information is there. One more.
I think they might have added it.
Not have that? Okay, that's fine. So what I'm presenting to you today is our Community Wellbeing Ambassador Program. It's the impact report for our 2024 services. This program is a program that was launched in 2020 as a response to COVID. It is really building capacity in hard-to-reach communities across the state. Thank you. The purpose of the program, the ambassadors go into those hard-to-reach communities, identify after a landscape analysis, and they provide behavioral health skill building by using a curriculum that is evidence-based called Skills for Psychological Recovery. They also hold caseloads. 21st Century Case Management is our tier, and they work with their caseloads in that skill development as well as connecting them to needed resources. So you'll see from January to November, our this implementation report is just for Newcastle County, as that is the work of the council and the committee today. So from January to November, we engaged over 608 Newcastle County community members. Our community members who were pregnant were reported as 5. We served a total of 665 community members, and our total interactions were just over 2,000 interactions. We also distribute Narcan and provide Narcan training to not only community members, but agencies and corner stores, churches, whoever is willing. And in that, we trained 2,576 individuals. We distributed 3,571 kits. I want to pause there before I go through December numbers, just to make sure you understand we are a collective impact agency, and so all of our work is really embedded in partnership and making sure that we partner with those agencies who are serving communities like us, and that helps to build capacity for those agencies. The council just recently recognized one of our Wilmington Street Team collaborative partners for his ability to connect community members to rehab, and of those 48 people, over 30 of them are on Network Connect caseloads, and we referred them to him. So those are the types of things. We're building capacity for other agencies. In this particular program, we have 6 other agencies who serve as host sites. We provide funding to them to house our community wellbeing ambassadors in Newcastle County, and in Kent and Sussex County, we have 4 other host sites, and as we do the same. For December, of course, it was a short month because that's the holiday season. We engaged 31 community members, and we served a total of 132 with 275 interactions in a 2-week period. 99% of our community members received Skills for Psychological Recovery training, which is that 6-module behavioral health skill building. And 114 individuals were trained in Narcan, as well as 256 individuals were given Narcan kits. These directly correlate to this committee's work because we are focusing on building not only community capacity and culture, but also behavioral health skill building for those communities that we serve and you all serve as well. Some of those zip codes are 19802, 19801, 19805, 19720, and that translates to neighborhoods of the Northeast, East Side, Newcastle County, West Center City, and other neighborhoods throughout the Newcastle County area. Newcastle Avenue. Our highest engagement over the last year was in the 19801 and the 19805 zip codes, with over 200 in both of those. Some of the resource needs that we're seeing that we wanted to share with this group is the major concerns in the social determinants of health that we're addressing cause people to be able to connect with us, to be able to connect to needed resources. So substance use, mental health is one of our highest. Healthcare, and that could include prenatal care, employment, and of course housing. There's a housing crisis nationwide, and so that is our largest engagement. Youth support, and then transportation. Other services like reentry, clothing, and food disparities are also represented in that 1,400 at the bottom there. Next slide, please. It breaks down, our impact report also breaks down race and ethnicity, with the majority of our engagement being with African Americans, 78.2%. And then it also goes in a little further for ethnicity, 10.8% Hispanic, and then 83% non-Hispanic. We also break down gender and age, with our largest group in gender is our females, and then our largest age group is that 35 to 44 age group. I'll stop there and take any questions from the committee or public.
Just real quick, I would like to acknowledge Council Member Bracy for joining, as well as we have our Chief of Staff, Elijah Simmons, here, and Senior Advisor Marshall Basnight. Is there any questions from members of the committee?
Yes, Chair, can I make a comment?
Yes.
Sierra, I just want to say you guys are doing a wonderful job. You know, my first interaction with you guys were over at the CEB. I was an educator at Coomba Academy Charter School, so I know some of you. We spent some time at the turkey giveaway. And then y'all had a wonderful event for Martin Luther King Jr. over at the PAL. I got an opportunity to meet your mom and your sister and everybody. The work that you guys are doing, like today, people might say, hey, listen, it's not hitting yet, but you guys are saving lives. And I hope that you guys continue to save as many lives as you possibly can. And I'm here to support you any way we possibly can. So
Thank you so much. We appreciate your support, Councilman.
Any other council members? And I think you could take the report down. WIT.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to say thank you to Network Connect. I mean, I see your events happening all over the, all over the city, all times of the week, and it's just really clear that you're out there connecting with people. And there's a lot of people here tonight. I want to thank everybody who came out and took the time to come, and everything that you do for the community. And yes, I definitely, want to work with you and continue to support you.
Thank you, Christian.
I do have one. I do have a question here. We have people that come visit all the time, and we've had several meetings. I just want to know, how can we help you?
That's an awesome question. I want to acknowledge that the reason why our team is here today is because one of the things that we are priding ourselves in, and we're hoping other agencies will follow this, is that we're not only building capacity by service, but we're building capacity with our workforce. So it's important for them to participate in legislation, committee meetings, and to be present whenever I am present, because there's no Cierra without Network Connect's team. And so the way you counsel this committee and the council at large can help us is by continuing to keep us in mind when you're thinking about ways to engage those hard to reach populations, but also utilize us when you have families that are in need of services and may need that peer-to-peer connection. Remember us and our contact information. And in always, we're a nonprofit, so we rely on funding. So if you know of any funding sources and things that fit the scope of work that we have, we would ask you to keep that in mind, Councilman.
Any council members online? Well, I have some questions.
Awesome.
First off, I just want to say thank you so much for accepting the invitation to come here and do all the work that you're doing and share that information with us. I have known Network Connect, I think, from the beginning.
I believe so.
And have seen the growth and the impact y'all have had on the community, not only in Newcastle County, but right here in the city of Wilmington. And these are the type of organizations that as a council we should be highlighting. I see the work that you do over in my district, in the 1st District, working with the POW and everything. But I did want to just get a little deeper into some of your programs so people really have an understanding of the impact that you're making. So the first one that I really want to just hear a little bit more about is the Wilmington Street team.
Awesome.
And how you're already working with the city, with the mayor's office on that initiative with Dr. Mason. But how exactly are y'all impacting the city of Wilmington?
Absolutely. So the city of Wilmington did a landscape analysis and actually identified Network Connect and the Center for Structural Equity as agencies that would be important in this work. And Dr. Mason leads as our coordinator, but it is really a collective impact work. Network Connect stays really true to mission in that we are focused on resource connection and skill building. Our team, and some of them are here tonight, are public safety professionals. They're trained nationally to respond to violent events, but to also attack root cause issues. And so in our last report, we, like I said, you just honored a street team member from CFSC. We've been cleaning up areas. One of our hub houses is right on Market Street, which was a very hard area. That alley that house sits in was full of drug abuse, and if you ride past today, that it does not look the same. We also are providing resources and hosting community roundtables. Dr. Gwen Angelette and her team TAs that, and she's also here tonight. And we are having over 200 individuals from the community, people who live in those areas, participating in those roundtables and helping us combat violence on a monthly basis. We're bringing resources to them so that they learn about the different opportunities and services that are here. And one of the things that we hear a lot from the community members that we serve is there are lots of great programs, but without agencies like Network Connect taking that information to the community, many people can't access it. So we've seen, to answer your question, we've seen violence drop in both of our districts. And while we don't take full responsibility for that, we are a part of it, right? WPD, we have to shout them out and thank them for their work and their ability to see community in a different light. The City of Wilmington for allowing us and funding us and allowing us to do this work. But also, I think when you attack and really provide culture and root cause integration, you see that change, and that's our focus. We also launched Safe Haven for teens, and we're at the Teen Warehouse. And so on Friday nights, the Teen Warehouse is taken over by Network Connect, and we provide some fun things for those youth who are there. We have served over 1,000 meals. People can come to our 2 hub houses and take showers, get on a computer, connect with the resource connector. We're also seeing people come from our prisons, so from Gander Hill and the Women's Correctional Center, and they can come there, take shower, and get connected and really properly re-enter into the community, which I think also changes violence. So that program is very near and dear to me. It started out as a pilot. We're seeing coming out of pilot, but we're still, learning our way. And my favorite part of that work is the true collective work. No matter if you see Cierra or Daryl or Deborah Mason or Gwen, we're all collectively meeting and speaking the same language, and I think that changes the narrative for how the City of Wilmington has been able to address violence in the past.
Thank you for that, and especially with your work with reentry as well, too, as we try to keep the recidivism rate down here in the state of Delaware, helping someone who's just coming out of prison, giving them a hot meal, giving them a place to shower, goes a long way in changing how they reacclimate to the community as well, too. And I wish there was more organizations doing that. And I thank you for the work that you are doing. I did have one question, and this is kind of posed to the entire room. Of the people that work with Network Connect, how many are from the City of Wilmington?
Raise your hand if you're from the City of Wilmington. So our agency purposely in our hiring process goes into the community that we're get ready to engage, and we go get people to work, and then we train them up. We do have some of our Dover team here. Thank y'all for driving all the way out. And we do the same thing in Dover and Sussex County. There's 52 of us now, and so we spend a lot of time training because we want the people from the community, like I said earlier, not only to benefit from the training and the professional development, but to build up community, you have to take from community and teach them. And so that is what we've done, and that's what we'll continue to do.
Thank you for that. Councilwoman Cabrera.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to speak. First, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you, commend you for the work that you are doing. We are seeing the difference. We are feeling the impact in the community. And it is so nice to hear from our neighbors and constituents when they say, things are really looking good. We're seeing these problem areas and corrections being brought to them, but it takes a team. And I would be remiss by not getting on here to say thank you so much for the members of your team that did make the time to drive up here, to be present, to fill that room, in Chambers, and it's so great to see you all. Sorry I cannot personally be there, but I am so proud of you, and I really want to deeply thank you for the work that you are doing, and really full appreciation. And anything that you need, please count on council for us to continue to make sure you have the tools and the resources that you need to continue this great work. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman.
Any other council members? Before I let y'all go, because I could talk. Again, I just really want to highlight the work you're doing and the impact that you've had on our youth here in the city as well too. And can you just give a little more information about the Race to Wellness campaign and the Wellbeing Ambassador initiative as well.
Sure. So I can take a moment and go through each one, Kobe, if that's helpful. So just for youth services, so we have a youth services manager. She's also here tonight. 4 of our programs really focused on youth services, and that's actually how Network Connect was born in 2019, really focused on youth. And so our Future Culture Creators program is a workforce development program where we employ teens age 14 to 18. They train with us for 90 days in hard and soft skills. Their hard skill is community engagement, so we like to believe that we're building future, right? The culture creators of Wilmington. So far in that program, we've graduated about over 137 youth. They also learn design thinking with our dual school program, and then we follow them for an additional 6 months to train them, but to also place them in employment and make sure that employment sticks. Our other youth serving program, I mentioned dual school, that's the design thinking. We actually acquired that program, and their executive director sits on our board as president. He and I work together, and he's moved away, and dual school is really focused on design thinking and teaching young people how to work a project from start to finish. A lot of that work has been with organizations like Christiana Care and Green Energy, different projects where youth are coming up with their own entrepreneurial projects and begin to launch those. Our Race to Wellness programs are a letter of love. Honestly, I lost my grandmother in 2020, I believe earlier than she should have been because she had a high ACE score. And I wanted to inform the community about ACEs to help us stop those early deaths. And so we actually go into schools, Eastside Charter, several others, Johnson Elementary, and we provide healing activities to those young people. We also, this is a statewide program, so South and East Dover Elementary also are a part of that work. We also have a race summer camp where we focus completely on healing and social emotional learning for middle schoolers. With the race program. And then my favorite part of that program is that we have mental health kits, race kits that we take out into community, supported by Department of Education. We've given over 2,000 kits to schools throughout the state. In those kits are tangible coping skills, but also resources to connect to mental health services throughout our state, fidget spinners, coloring books, journals, all the things you need to provide healing for young people, and they become their little safe boxes, and we teach them how to use them, and we take those out. We also host race days, which are also fun days in the community where, and Christian, when you talked about our events, a lot of those are our race day events where we're providing some fun activities for the community to engage in healing together. We actually are hosting one tonight at our Concord Mall location. We talked about Wilmington Street Team, the Recovery Cafe manager here? Yeah. So the Recovery Cafe is our newest initiative. We've been trained by the National Recovery Cafe Network, and we launched, along with Aaliyah as our manager, our Recovery Cafe a little over 7 months ago, and we already have over 40 members. How many members at your cafe?
Respectfully, we got 33.
33 members at the Recovery Cafe. Their focus is really to engage in their rehabilitation, whether it be from substance use or mental health. We open our doors in the evenings and weekends so that they have a place to come and maintain their sobriety and their healing. The Messaging Center, our newest messenger, is in the building tonight. The Messaging Center is really important. We were approached by some of the government agencies about getting the word out about vaccinations, about legislation, about other community things, what was happening with Delmarva, some of the housing things that you guys have been a part of, getting it to the community members who need to hear and see it most. And so we have messengers in the community door knocking day to day, 3 days a week. They keep data, and we follow up with those people to make sure they're engaging with their community. You'll also see us at civic association meetings and things of that nature, trying to keep our community informed so that we can also be a part of legislation and what happens with us, not to us.
Thank you so much for that. And one last thing, can you share with everyone your website again, the address, and also where they can find the resources, or if they want to apply for a job? with y'all?
Absolutely. We're currently hiring for well-being ambassadors. Our headquarters is located at 1200 North French Street, the Community Education Building. Our Dover office is at 20 East Division Street. Our contact information, you can find our website at www.networkconnect.org. Our Facebook page is Network Connect org. Our Instagram is We Are Network Connect, and our LinkedIn is Network Connect as well. Our regular phone number, our headquarters phone number is 302-300-1222. You can refer clients on our website. You can call into that regular headquarters, and you can also be connected to who's here tonight, our outreach coordinator, Contel, for partnership and any developmental things that you guys are have in mind.
Thank you so much. Is there any additional questions from council members? Seeing none, any questions from the public? One question from our senior advisor.
Chair, I just want to make a general comment, is that City Council has established an Office of Education Advocacy, and one of the responsibilities once the director is hired is going to deal with like mobilization, so we can have voices advocating for our youth. So to see how you were able to mobilize and have your people like to come here, so maybe there's a way that there can be like a conversation to see like how you do that, best practices of what we can utilize. So I just want to just mention that for the record. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Can you give her my information?
Any other public comment? No one? All right.
Obviously, our group ain't nobody got nothing from her group.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, team, for coming out to support me.
Thank you. You want to get a picture out there so you can see what you did for your community? Cierra, is there any way we can get a picture with everybody out there? I mean, we got to wait till. Try to.
We do have another presentation.
We have another presentation.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have our friends from the Food Bank of Delaware with a presentation by Chad Robinson. And I think you have a guest here with you tonight? Yes. So we can grab another chair from the back so you can both sit up there.
I'll pass it now.
Thanks.
Yes. And before you start, make sure you introduce yourself.
You want to get one more chair?
It's fine. Go ahead. And if, Chad, if you got to talk, you need to talk at the podium.
Oh, you're good. Yeah. Thank you.
I thought so.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Kathy Konevsky. I have the pleasure and honor of serving as the president and CEO of the Food Bank of Delaware. I'm joined with Melissa Lopez and Chad Robinson. Chad's our vice president of external affairs, and Melissa is our community outreach extraordinaire who has made incredible strides and changes in the way we're serving our Hispanic community. So thank you so much for having us here. We are here to share a little bit about what we do, but I've got to, before we start that, how impressive are you? And I have so many notes written down. I think I live our life thinking of all the ways we can partner and collaborate with others, and there are so many ways. I actually texted Chad and said, "Are we partnering with them?" Are we? Okay. Good. Awesome. I think there's probably more ways that we can, so we'll be calling for sure. We're here to share a little bit of our world. I don't think anybody questions the fact that food insecurity is a huge problem, certainly in our world, certainly in our country, our state, and especially here in the city of Wilmington. Last year, I had the opportunity to sit with Mayor former Mayor Przicki, and we actually put together a sheet that we have for you updated that highlighted all the different services that we provide in the city, within city limits, addressing food insecurity. And we actually put a price tag to that last year, which was pretty staggering for him. We're not going to go through the price tag tonight, but we were happy to do that at another time. We really just want to talk about the issue and the problem and kind of how we're approaching inviting you into it with us. 1 in 8 Delawareans is food insecure. And the definition of food insecurity means you cannot find and don't have enough food to thrive and survive. 1 in 5 children are food insecure and in the state of Delaware. And what we know about children being hungry is that if a child is hungry going to bed and a child is hungry waking up and a child is going to school hungry, they can't learn. One of our board members says all the time, you know, children should go to school to learn, not to eat. And it just, in one little, powerful sentence, that says a lot. I urge you all, as you're looking at groups of children throughout the city, count. If there are at least 5 in that group, one of them is probably, most definitely, food insecure. And we just have so many ways to help that we wanted to share a little bit more about our journey. Chad, you want to take over? I know you have.
So to the members of council, first, thank you so much. We put a ton of information for you tonight. So there are 30-some slides that we won't go through all this evening, but we wanted to make sure that you had them so that you can refer back to them. As Kathy noted, the sheet that's before you in your packet really lists out what we're doing currently right here in the city of Wilmington. We wanted to put that together for you so you could see not only the numbers, but also some of the organizations that are partnering with us throughout the city to do this important work. We couldn't do the work we do without partner agencies, over 200 statewide, food pantries, food closets, soup kitchens, child nutrition sites, senior nutrition sites, all over the state where we're really having an opportunity to make an impact. Also included in your packet is a more larger document highlighting our impact statewide, just to give you some more perspective on really looking at what the impact we're having in the city versus statewide. And you'll see that that a lot of incredible work is happening here in the city in that regard. The right side of your packet is really information that I'll say you can share out with your constituents. Information about our programs, about our workforce development programs, things that you can feel free to share out, and we're happy to give you more of those as we go on.
And Chad, on the right side too, make sure you look at both sides of the programs. We like to talk about our programs as food for today and food for tomorrow. So food for today obviously is getting food on tables. Food for tomorrow is a lot of things too that you all talked about. It's the way we hope that we can help somebody so that they don't need to come to us for food. But we look for partners in that scope of our work all the time.
Right. And so I think we really wanted to engage in a conversation with you tonight, so we'd be happy to entertain your questions. But first, I think it's important to just highlight the opportunity, as Councilman Hackett asked earlier, ways that you can help. Mm-hmm. First is those engagement opportunities. We want to continue to engage here in the city to do more work. We know that so many need the services that we can provide and those of our partner agencies, so we want to make sure that we're here for them. We're really in a unique position, though, different than any time really before in the history of our organization, where since COVID, distribution pretty much doubled overnight from FY19 to FY20. That level of distribution, that level of service has not gone down. We have not seen that go away. I think a lot of folks thought that, everything's going to return to normal after the pandemic ends, when this is over. And that has not been the case for us at the food bank. But along with that, at the food bank, donations have not come back to pre-pandemic levels, so we've not seen those levels of donations return. And federal food products, USDA commodities, food that we get from the federal government to distribute to our communities, has also come back to a more sustainable level. And my crystal ball is fuzzy. I'm sure many of yours is as well. So I can't tell you what tomorrow or the next 3.5 years is going to bring related to federal programs as well. So that has meant that we at the food bank are purchasing more food today than really at any time in the history of our organization, from roughly $1 million in FY19 to over $5 million this year. So we're looking for opportunities to engage together, to partner together, to think together, to collaborate together, so that we can collectively continue to do this important work, but know that we can sustainably do that moving forward. With that, we're happy to entertain your questions.
Chair, thank you so much for allowing me to comment. I don't know what system you have, Chad, but when I won the election, you were the first person to say congratulations. Like literally, it was like the votes came in and Chad said, congratulations. So
His system is preparedness.
I was like, how did you generate that fast?
Yeah.
But we took a visit. I came to the food bank.
Yeah.
I got to see all the wonderful things that you guys were doing. I look at the job training. One of the students that you had in the culinary art program actually works for a county president now, Monique Johnson. So it was like when I walked in, she was like, "I just seen you."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Wow, that's amazing." You got it. You worked there. I think I seen you. Okay. Yes. Ah.
Cool.
So just the things that you are doing for the community is so impactful. Thank you so much for reaching out, staying up to date. I mean, I get an email once a week from you, just letting me know what's going on. So thank you so much for including us, letting us know that everything that's going on. And once again, I would love to help, and I would love to be able to visit and volunteer more often as well. So thank you so much.
We're happy to have you whenever you want to come.
Councilwoman Cabrera.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I, too, was very happy to get the invitations and the outreach that you have been doing to let us know, as community leaders, the significant work that you're doing and the important fact that you noted that the need has increased with the amount of food that is required and the amount of people that you are feeding. So as that need has increased, the support has to be there. I was happy to see your new facility, the job training, something that wasn't mentioned in today's presentation. In fact, I was just looking at the emails and realized when we were there, that I had connected you with our chair to make sure that you came and shared this information with us. So one thing that I do want people to know is that you train people there to be warehouse workers, where the experience that they get hands-on, they can go and get a job outside of the food bank and work in that profession, as well as your culinary school. When I was there, you had a class that was being undertaken. So all of these programs, you're not just feeding people, you're teaching them to fish. You're teaching them to provide for themselves. So that I want to commend you. I cannot wait to go back in the spring. They have an outdoor cafe out there. They have bees. They're cultivating honey.
Y'all are doing great advertisement. Thank you.
I mean, it's a great space. I think for mental health reasons, people should go and spend time there. And as volunteers or as workers, it is just a great place to visit. So I commend the work that you're doing. I really love your Hispanic outreach. I'm glad that you brought myself and other leaders to the table to have that conversation. Melissa Campino, who headed that up, and of course, Kathy, the executive director, who greeted us. Really thankful for the work that you're doing. Please continue to let us know how we can help, and we want to get the word out and the mission out there that we can each help each other through these challenging times. Thank you again.
Councilwoman, thank you so much. And just so you know, there is a packet waiting for you with council staff that highlights those programs. But I guess we would be remiss, Mr. Chair, if we don't take a second to highlight those programs. Yeah. We call those Food for Tomorrow programs. So ways that we can think about not just feeding people today, but changing their lives for tomorrow. So our culinary and culinary training programs and warehousing and logistics programs, we call those that program Logic. Really creating opportunities, as Councilwoman Cabrera said, for folks to come, get training, and get a job.
And specifically, sorry, Chad, to interrupt you, but specifically for this committee, we also have a culinary training specifically for people with intellectual disabilities, which is something that has been incredibly popular. Started it during kind of coming out of COVID and partnered with the Restaurant Association because there was such a need for employees, and there is always such a need for employment for people that are trained, skilled, and have a disability that makes it a little bit harder for them to get forward in this world. And we also have started a program called STEP. It's specialized training and employment. We actually hire people with disabilities. We have 9 employees right now who are supported by our own infrastructure that we built to support them. We're not relying on outside agencies. So just wanted to add that.
Took the words out of my mouth, Kathy. Very good job. But also the additional pieces as well, benefits outreach assistance, where we're helping folks sign up for benefits that they're eligible for. We realized that going to the State Service Center is not always an enjoyable experience. Anybody? Yeah. So,
really?
So we're able to go and meet folks where they are to help them sign up for those benefits and then become advocates for them, become authorized representatives for them to help them through that process. Stand By Me financial coaching, helping folks plan for the resources they have and plan about their own future. And then nutrition education, helping folks think about what they're purchasing, how to make the best food purchase, how to make their food dollar stretch the furthest, all of those things that are really impactful for those that are experiencing food insecurity, so that they can utilize the resources they have. We had a conversation today. So many folks that we see are working. They're doing what society expects them to do. It always breaks my heart and makes me mad when folks say, well, all these people aren't working. Well, no, that's not the case. They really are. There's just not enough resources for them to make all their ends meet. And so I'm hearing amens. This is good. So I like this crowd.
We'll get your picture.
So when we talk about things like, the cost of healthcare, childcare, putting gas in the car, doing all those things that folks need to do, often food is the last thing, right? So they're thinking, I can put that off to the side. I'm going to take care of all these other things first. In our business, we have a saying called rent eats first, right? They're going to make sure the roof is over their head, and the other resources are going to go, behind that. And so I think that that's important to note too, is that we're feeding people for today, but we're also trying to give them the resources that they need to make tomorrow better, but then also to take what they do have right now and say, you know what, I'm going to utilize this in the best way.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I just want to say thank you to the food bank for your work. There's a bunch of food pantries, that serve the residents of the 5th District, Be Ready CDC, and the Latin American Community Center. I just want to call them out.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for your willingness to partner with community-based organizations, and really bring the food to partners that are just from the neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. And I think that is really powerful and also gets the food to people in places where they feel comfortable. And I also really want to say thank you for your efforts to use that fact that people are coming to get food to connect to benefits. And, so people have limited time, they can't go everywhere. And I think that combining access to programs that you're doing is really a good idea. So, kind of like Network Connect, it's about connecting people beyond just, but also, we all know that prices are going up, rents are going up, and these are all issues that council, is also looking to address. What can we do about rising rents? What can we do about, energy costs as legislators, as elected officials? So the work that you're doing to make sure that people can get food is really important, so that people can pay for their all their needs on the incomes that people are making. And again, incomes is something also legislators have to have a role to play in, like minimum wage and things like that. So we're seeing right now the role of government in maybe cutting programs that are really essential to family survival. And I just want to thank you for the good work that you're doing, and just commit to making sure that we continue to build programs kind of, together that help people sustain their families and build stronger communities.
Thank you. I think just a couple things in response. When we talk about partner agencies, I'm so glad you mentioned that in the communities. For us, there's no other way, right, to do this work. We recognize that one, we can't be everywhere all the time, but two, that we're not always the trusted, respected organization in that community.
There's a bit of a stigma for people to come to a food bank.
Yeah.
Sadly.
When there's a local organization, when there are people there that they trust and that they know they can go to, if we can come in and dovetail our resources with them, like Network Connect, then that makes sense, right? Because we know that more folks are going to utilize that resource because they trust people there. They know that they can get those services there. So I think that is really key. And then your comments around the variety of things that pull on, a person's resources, I think are also so pivotal because, again, food is the nexus really of all of those other things. We can't expect someone to be successful and to do these other things if they can't get food first, right? Maslow's hierarchy of needs tells us that folks are going to ensure that their basic needs, those basic things are met first. And so we can't get to self-actualization until we cover food first. And so thank you for your comments there because food is what really ensures that individuals can be and achieve their biggest success.
Can I share one more thing?
Yes.
Just, I think it's important for you all to know this in case you get calls. We met with Marcus Henry today and shared with him, and he said, "Thank you so much for sharing that with me." One of the things, since I've been in my role just a little under 4 years, I think one of the hardest things that I've had to do is make the decision to start charging our partners again. We did not, all through COVID, we did not charge any one of our partners for any ounce of food. That was across the country. That's how food banks were handling it. Before COVID, everybody charged. And we held on for as long as we could, but we can't sustain what we're doing anymore in that way. So what we went back to was a cost-sharing model, is what we're calling it. If we purchase that food and we pass it on to any of our partner agencies or mobile pantries that come into the neighborhoods, we charge half. Mobile pantries, we don't charge in that way, but our partner agencies, they pick what they want. If they pick foods that we bought, they pay 50%. If it's something we got donated, it comes to them for free. But that 50% is something for 4 years now they haven't had in their budget. The mobile pantries that are coming into neighborhoods, we said, okay, here's what we can do. If you want one every month, that's great. Every other month we'll provide it for free, but that opposite month you have to find funding. A lot of our partners are run by, an older volunteer. They don't get that. They don't necessarily understand it. And what we're hearing is that they're calling their representatives or calling their council members, and they're saying, food bank's charging us. I want you to understand the why behind that. And what we're trying to do is help them find sponsors or some other way to get that funding. But if we are successful in what we're trying to do, talking to every single municipality throughout the state, that's how one of the ways we're hoping that everybody can kind of come together so that we don't have to pass that. We just feel like we're kicking the pain down the lane, when we're passing off that cost.
How does, for the mobile unit at least, how do you determine the price for that? Is it based off how many, because I know y'all do the boxes as well, right? Is it based off what's in the box or just per box?
What's in and per number of people that come. So for about 100 people that would be served by a mobile pantry, that's about $2,500.
Okay.
So I just literally talked with someone in another district that was able to do that. So it was they got a $15,000 corporate donation from a corporation that's in their district to cover those other months. And we're happy to step in there and help. I mean, not everybody's out there trying to get donations and sponsorship. We can do that part.
Any other questions before I start my questions? No, all right. So first off, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for answering that question. And also, I want to give a thank you to Councilwoman Maria Cabrera for asking for y'all to come and present here tonight. On this form, and I don't think it was a part of the presentation, so I do want to read some of the numbers out. You served over 6,000 seniors with your senior meal box distribution. If there was additional senior high-rises and apartment buildings here in the city of Wilmington, how would they go about becoming a part of that program? And is there any cost to those seniors, or is it a sponsorship opportunity?
Go ahead.
All right. So that program is a federal program called the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, and we administer that program for the state of Delaware. There is no cost to seniors that are involved in that program. Unfortunately, there and this is even before the current administration, there are caps on the number of folks that we're able to serve statewide. And so if there are additional seniors that were interested, or, a new facility, became open or something like that, we would definitely encourage those people to reach out to us. And then we're kind of always maintaining a wait list, if you will, in that program, so that as folks either unfortunately pass away or move away or whatever the case may be, that we're moving people onto that program as we can. But no cost to them for any of those boxes. They pick up once a month from a location, so it would be like a senior housing facility or a senior center, a place like that. And the seniors that are assigned to that place know they go there every second Tuesday of every month, and they're going to get their box from that place at that time.
And is to sign up on your website?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next is, I also want to say thank y'all for the work y'all do at PS DuPont as well too in my district, with your backpack meal kits distribution. And again, it's so critical. I know there's been a lot of talk on the state level about universal meals for students.
Yes.
And we know the impact of having
I don't think anybody heard you. Want to say that a little bit louder?
universal meals. At least I support universal meals
Thank
for
you.
students, for both breakfast and lunch, because it's so critical to them learning. So I do want to say thank you for those meal kits that you provide as well too, and want to read that number into the record. It's over 62,000 kits were distributed, and overall their 2024 impact in Wilmington, 1.82 million pounds of food provided to Wilmington. That is amazing. Thank you for that. Yeah.
And Mr. Chair, just the other number I'll highlight, just because if you're like me, the only time you think about pounds is when you go to the doctor or the grocery store. That's 2.1 million meals. So if you think that, hopefully we ate 3 meals today, I don't math well, but you can figure out how many days that is.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. And again, looking forward to working with y'all more. Just before I let y'all go,
you ain't letting nobody go. We got to take a picture, remember?
Can you talk a little bit more about what your program does?
Yes, so I'm the community engagement coordinator. I'm specifically for the Latino community, the Hispanic and Latino community.
You may have to pull it closer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're on.
Sorry about that. So, so what I do is basically part of what I do is go ahead and go into the Latino communities, and one of the big things is dispelling myths. I really wanted to point that out because what happens is we'll get Latino clients or Hispanic clients that come in, and they have children that are born here but have no idea how to apply for benefits. That's a big one for me. I want to make sure they know that they qualify and their children qualify for these benefits, and they can come in and apply for these benefits in a safe place like the Food Bank of Delaware and through us. I want to make sure our partner agencies know that I'm available there as well to be able to talk to these clients when they come in and let them know that this is not the only way that you can get food, but you can also get food through the SNAP program, which we can go ahead and do applications right over the phone. They don't have to come in. There's a big issue with transportation, especially in the Latino community and the Hispanic community. That's no longer an issue. They can do it right over the phone and go ahead and talk to me. And I speak their language. So that's such a big deal. It's such a big deal to be able to go someplace and someone speaks your language. I don't think anybody can understand that. It's just, if you ever go to a different country and have to communicate and not be able to communicate, it's one of the hardest things ever. And these people come here with just hope, and just really only hope that they're coming here to do better for their family, and then not be able to communicate is such a hindrance. And just, it's amazing that we're able to go ahead and do that for them. So another thing that I'm doing is translation. So making sure that we have things for the Food Bank of Delaware that is translated in Spanish, so our clients know, hey, we're here for you in your language. We can definitely help you. Making sure that they understand and they know all of the great things that the Food Bank is doing, including our workforce program, knowing that that's available, knowing what else is available for them, like our distributions when those are available, things like that, and making sure that our partners know as well. And one big thing that we're trying to do now is go ahead and put this out in Spanish radio, so they can know in their language that, hey, we're out there for them.
What are we doing this morning, Melissa?
So this morning we did have a mass distribution in Dover, and we served 1,200 people there. So one of the greatest things about being there is that I can go ahead and talk to someone in Spanish if that's what they need, and everybody knows me at the food bank, so they're like, hey, Melissa, come on over, and everything else. So I love that I'm able to do that for them, and I love that I'm able to communicate. My community is so important to me, just like I see with you guys, how community is so important. So, and we do partner with LACC. I love LACC. They do such a fantastic job up here in Wilmington with the community, and I love the fact that we're able to go ahead and talk to them. I have gone visit their pantry. It's amazing the work that they do.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I just add on to Melissa for a second? We would be remiss if we didn't say right now the importance of protecting the work that Melissa's doing. We want to make sure that folks are able to be able to get food assistance and do all of that. And so any advocacy from your position as council persons here in the city of Wilmington is certainly valuable in that context as well.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Cabrera?
Yes, this message is specifically for Melissa. In terms of what you're seeing in the Hispanic community, are you finding any less usage or less participation from members of the Hispanic community because they might be fearful to go to places to get assistance that they could need with everything that's going on a national level, the threats against the immigrant community? There is a lot of fear. We see it in the local markets, places like the Farmers Market, which is normally packed on a weekend with a lot of members of the Hispanic community. On some weekends, it looks like a ghost town. So getting the resources and the food into the tables of the people who need it the most, is this fear and this threat of deportation, immigration issues, do you see less usage with the community? And how do you think you could overcome that if it is an issue?
So, Maria, unfortunately, there's been a decrease in the Hispanic and Latino community coming to a lot of our partner pantries. There's a lot less coming to our mobile pantries, a lot less coming to our mass distribution. It pains me. It pains me to see that this is happening for the community. And again, you take 2 steps forward and almost like 5 steps back with this, because we work so hard to try to dispel these myths and to make them feel safe and to make my community feel good about coming. And now we have this situation where there is fear. And one of the biggest things is when I talk to everyone, I was like, do not let fear take away your voice and your power. You don't need to do that. So one of the things that I think that we're working with in the food bank is we do have mobile pantries that go into specific neighborhoods, and that I did see that last week. We went into a specific neighborhood, and that was a primarily Hispanic community, and they came out, and I was so thrilled. So while I'm sitting there, I'm asking them as well, did you apply for SNAP benefits? And a lot of them are saying no. And I'm like, well, why not? You have children that are born here. Yes. So we do, have these conversations, and I'm able to have these conversations. It's so important that when we do go out, that they see a face, they see a friendly face, and they see someone that can talk to them. Because that's the important thing. You feel that safety as soon as someone says hola and is able to speak to you in your language. So unfortunately, yes, we are having this happen, but I think one of the greatest things about working with the food bank is that we have such a heart and such a wonderful culture, and we're going to them. If they're not coming to us, we're going to go to them.
Thank you.
Thank you for answering that, and I'm glad that you found a way to still get those resources to them, and anything we can do to kind of let people know that this is a safe space, that people can come and get help. I think that's important, especially when people come here from other countries and they don't understand the culture, and the trust. Obviously, it's very hard to trust when you hear all this negativity in the media and everywhere that, you know, people, like, they're being attacked just for being here looking for an opportunity. So I think it's important that we do have those safe spaces, that we keep communicating and getting the word out, that this is a safe space, and it's important that you get these services so that your children don't go hungry. As many of them, you know, some people aren't even going to work. A lot of them have just kind of shut down. So that means that if they're not working and they're not bringing in income and resources, you know, there could be children and families going hungry, and we don't want that to happen. So again, anything that we can do to partner with you to help create that. I'm glad you're using the radio. You know, La Maxima is a great resource, and, you know, up and down the state, that we can get the newspaper to make sure that the Hispanic community, those members feel safe. That's important. So thank you for everything again that you guys are doing.
Absolutely.
And for answering that question.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will go to, is there any public comment? Is there any online? Again, thank you so much, and we will definitely be in touch with you, and I look forward to working with everyone who was here in the room today. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been motioned. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. It's been properly moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those against say no. All right, we're going home, y'all. Take care. We're adjourned.